Welcome back, guys. And it's actually been like a week since I've been able to get into the shop because life has hit me really, really hard. I've got a lot of things that I need to get done, some good news, some bad news, and I also decided to open my own business. Well, I actually decided to open that business a year ago. It's just now starting to, take off and do stuff, so it's taking a lot of time. I'm basically, doing YouTube, working 48 hours a week and starting my own business or actively doing my own business. So I'm really, really busy now. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to chase the American dream, guys, if you know what I mean. But my wife is getting really tired of not seeing my face anymore. But I need to get back out here. I need to get this done. That's why you guys actually saw the Will It Run Travelette last week, which you guys quickly let me know is a video you do not like. But in this video, we're back on the 53 because all I have left is paint and this thing will get on the road. And well, sanding, a whole lot of sanding. Definitely have a lot of that to do, but we'll get that all together, guys, and we'll get this thing on the road. And I'm just so excited for that. I already went ahead and jumped on the hood, got that thing all sanded up and looking really good. And then I went ahead and got the steering box all cleaned up and sanded down too. So that's where we're at, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Now what I want to do right now is get all of the body panels and the little tidbits and stuff like that that need to just get into epoxy, and then the satin black of the firewall color. So that's what I'm going to do. The inner fenders need a little bit of love. I got some stuff on it while it was sitting around because in my small shop, it's really hard to keep anything clean. So we'll get these cleaned up, almost looking like this beautiful thing. And then I'll come over and get all these tidbits. The good thing about sandblasting, guys, is I don't have to sand every inch. I just need to go through and make sure most of it's cleaned up and roughed up. We'll get some wax and grease remover on it, and we'll just start laying paint. So like I said, we'll start off with the inner fenders. These need the most work, again, because I got stuff all over them. And to clean them up, we're gonna use my usual, just come here, click, there you go. 80 grit on a DA. It's just the quickest, easiest way to get this all done. Like I said, guys, lots and lots of sanding. Just like that, guys, a lot of work has been done. I went ahead and sanded everything else up, all the little stuff. It took forever. And then as you can see, the paint booth is back up. I went ahead and got everything ready to go. The paint booth is a little bit smaller though because I needed to make a bunch room back there, and I'll show you. But here is everything ready to go. And man, it is just so cool to see this 7-year-old metal just clean and bare and shiny. There's something really cool about that. Actually, I like the way this like 80 grit kind of shines. I'd love to find me like an old 30s hot rod and just bare metal, 80 grit, satin clear that. That is something I want to do in the future. That'd be so awesome. Now, back to this. So as you guys see, I'm hanging it from the ceiling because I don't have any fancy paint booth stuff. So this is the best way I could think about to get to front and back and everything in here like that. Then over here, I have my Amazon clothing rack that I bought forever ago. And it was like 30 bucks, but this will be where all the little parts go. And then the hood, which just looks awesome, guys. Just look how clean that metal looks. I went ahead and waxed and greased and got everything really cleaned up, and it just came out really good. So it's ready to go. It's had plenty of time to dry. And what I'm doing here and why I'm doing the hood now is because I want this side of the hood to be satin black like the rest of the engine bay is going to be. I think it'll be a really cool color match, and then we'll come out this side and I'll prime this side later when I do the exterior color and all of that. Like I said, lots and lots of work, guys, but we're getting there. Now it's just going to be paint. Let's take you behind the paint booth. Now I needed a lot of room back here, which is why that looks smaller, because I have to have all this stuff. This is all the stuff that I need to paint still, all the little things. It's gonna be a ton of work. We gotta get all this stuff done and ready and paint. And then I set up a little dry booth right here. So as it comes off the hooks and the little clothing rack over there, I'll start hanging it up here to let it dry and get ready for top coat. which eventually is gonna be this satin black right here. Like I've said before, guys, it's all of this really hard, tedious work that you gotta get done when you're doing the restorative style builds. Like, you know, this little bracket here, and you know, this spring, so it doesn't rust out again. And you know, this, which I'm not even sure where everything goes. Yeah, like this bracket here, which I genuinely don't know. It's gonna be fun trying to put this truck back together. But everything like that needs to get done, guys. So what I have here is, like I've been using throughout. So if you're new here, this is SPI epoxy primer. I've been using it throughout. It's a bit of the pricier primer, but it's a lot better to use this because this is what actually protects your metal, guys. And then after that, I went for like mid-grade stuff the rest of the way, just because it'll look nice, it's affordable, but I definitely know that my metal is gonna be protected by using this. All right, time to put it in the shake and bake, which I built, like I cut a little window into my stuff here for. Just clamp it down, clamp it, yeah, there we go. Get it nice and mixed up. I'm splashing, a little bit of splash that was on there, but I'm always worried about that lid coming off, man. That would be a huge mess. All right, this is all mixed up and ready to go. Sat there for like 2 minutes, so it's nice. Oh, shaking, and I'm making a mess everywhere. This is going well, guys. All right. What do I clean? There's the towel. All right, I'm putting on a little napkin thing. I really don't want to spill any of this, so I'm trying to be as cautious as I can. Where's the mark? Let's go, Jason. Come on. Oh, yeah, that's a mess. Okay, yep, okay. I gotta get one of those things. I know I've seen the paint thing, like cool thing you can do to try to get this to paint. I'm gonna try that next time because that is not working and that is just making a mess of very expensive stuff. All right, guys, enough paint stuff. Let's get to spraying. All right, let's get to work. Man, guys, that took way longer than I anticipated. I think I say that a lot on this channel, actually. I think I should just start allotting more times. It is currently 10:40 at night. I started this about 1 p.m. and that's insane. But everything had to be sanded and you saw. Then in between painting, I was, what is the thing? Wax and grease remover. I'm getting tired, guys. All of that stuff, but we're done. We're finally done, and check it out. It looks so good. Here's our steering box. The steering column's been sanded up and just painted really nicely. All of the little bits. Here's our inner fender turned out. Man, it just looks so good. This is still gonna get a top coat, but that's awesome. All of the little things you never think about, guys, that just need paint so they don't rust out. Here's our fender brace. The hood actually came out really good. Check that out. I do have a drip. See if I can use the light to show you. Right there, so we'll have to sand that out, but man, that looks awesome. And you guys saw, there is just so many pieces. I had to start using the hooks that my shop lights actually hang from to get everything, but you know, I got it there. All of this, man. Everything is painted in epoxy, so it is safe and it won't rust out. This is all the tough work behind a full restoration job, but man, it's done and it's out of the way, and that's awesome. Now, most of this isn't going to get top coat. Some of this will just be needed, like the window regulators and stuff like this. I can put this in the doors just in epoxy. That'll be safe enough. So it's not gonna be that bad when we start doing top coat, but at least everything's protected. Now with that, guys, it is late. I'm gonna go in. The upside to this epoxy is we can top coat it tomorrow. We don't have to sand. So that is it for tonight. I need to clean the gun and get that all pulled away. And then I'm gonna go inside and see if my wife remembers my face. So I will catch you guys in the morning. Good morning, guys. It is the next day. I've actually already kind of come in early and started cleaning up. The floor was just covered in dry spray. It's actually a bunch of powder left here. I still got to clean that up, but I wanted to get that up so I didn't get a bunch of that in, you know, the top coat that we're going to spray. As you can see, I went ahead and hung the inner fenders again. I got the core support back over here, and we still have our steering box here because I need to paint that. But can we appreciate the hook and MVP of this? I actually had a nightmare that this thing fell in the middle of the night, so I came out early and checked on it, and it's good. This thing has got some weight to it too, so that little hook is awesome. Now I do have the hooks into studs, but man, these things are just killer. I'm really glad that I came up with this idea. It saved my ability to get this done. But I'm happy, man. It's dry now. You can kind of touch it. It just looks awesome. Check it out. I think it came out really, really good. Obviously, we still have to top coat it, but just kind of seeing how the paint laid down, put a light on. It's awesome. Now, one thing we have to do before we start painting is coming over here. Now, I probably wasn't able to show it last night, but scoot over here because I have absolutely no room to move around. This is the drip. Let me see if I can show you. There you go. So I got it in there, and I knew the moment I did it. I brought the gun up, and I was trying to get into that little crevice, and I just laid way too much in there. So I'll get that sanded out, but everything else looks awesome. Just check out this hood, guys. All right, guys, now let's try to fix my mistake here. I'm actually not mad about this. This is really the only major mistake I made out of all the painting I did yesterday, so I'll take it. Now, I just got a little bit of water here. You don't have to wet sand this, but I think it'll come out a little better. And then I have some 320, and I'm just gonna try to knock down the high here. Definitely don't wanna sand through any of this epoxy. All right, I think that's gonna get me pretty close. I did sand a little bit through, and I'll show you guys. I can see just a tiny bit of metal. Honestly, not gonna worry about it. But it feels a little better. I feel a little bit, but I don't wanna go anymore. I'm kind of surprised I got through because I was going really, really slow. Now it's dirty, so let's clean all this up. Little wax and grease remover to hide our sins. Let's see. Okay, not a good idea. Noted. Damn it. So the solvent from that immediately lifted on that, but makes sense. This isn't cured. It takes about 7 days for it to cure. So I'm gonna sand out that little area I messed up. There we go. Like it never happened. All right, well, I've erased my mistake. Well, my 2 mistakes that I made. The drip it came out pretty good. I'm happy with it. Yes, there's 2 little spots of bare metal, really tiny, and I'm not gonna get the gun out just to reprime this whole thing over that. That's just crazy. That's gonna be what it is. It'll just be fine. And my other mistake of wax and grease remover, I'm learning as I go, guys. Definitely don't put wax and grease remover on still curing paint, which sounds like I should know that. But I was able to sand it out just fine. And I went ahead and wiped everything down. And it's ready to go for top coat. All right, guys, the last thing we have to do is tape up this steering shaft because I want this to be the interior color. So I'm gonna use this plastic mainly because it'll cover it all, but also because the tape sucks. And why I want that is because I want the tape not to stick to the epoxy or peel it off when I take it off. Peel the paint off, that's what I'm trying to say. Bam. That should work like that. This should just come, hopefully it's long enough. Ooh, I think it really might be. Perfect. And this is actually how I kind of envisioned it, so this is actually working out kind of nice. You know, this is starting to look like I know what I'm doing. All right, guys, it is time to put the top coat in our shake and bake here. Absolute favorite thing. Now, this thing has been sitting for about a year, so I hope it's still good, to be honest. So let's get it shaken up. All right, it's all stirred up, guys. I actually pulled this once already, and I found a ton of clumps in the bottom, just like I did with the epoxy before. Luckily, I was able to scrape most of it, and then I put it on there and I shook it for like 10 minutes. It's all stirred up. The clumps actually dissolved back in. I got lucky with that. This has been sitting for 6-7 months, so a long time, you know, because the move really put me back on the truck. Now, That's done, so we can pop over here. So this is, if you guys aren't familiar, the stuff I used on the chassis, Eastwood's 2K chassis black. I just went with this because I've heard good reviews on it. I was already using some Eastwood products back then, but if I was to do it again, it's not that I don't like it. I'd probably just get like a local single stage satin and kind of run it that way. And it's a 4-to-1 mix, so we'll just be running it the same way. Let me get a little something to put down. All right, right there. Now this is something I got off a Vice Grip Garage. I was just watching him paint that F100. Well, him and Kevin. I'm gonna use that little trick of creating a little funnel with tape. I did this yesterday with the epoxy and it works amazing. So I'll kind of see if I can recreate it. Chances are I'm trying to do it on camera now and it, you know, it won't work as well. But quick little, there we go. And just kind of like that. Toss it in here in a 4-to-1. What is that? All right, after a bunch of back and forth math, I'm just gonna go 4-to-1, so 400 I'll put in here. Come on, just work this time. You worked beautifully last. Oh yeah, there you go. This is awesome. I will be doing this all of the time now. Let it just drip right there. Set the lid on it for now, and then the hardener. Still makes a bit of a mess with the drip, but that's kind of the idea. Now this is really thick. A lot thicker than I think I wanted it to be, but that's fine. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna try something different. So I've been using my FLG4 gun forever, but what I have had, I've actually had this for a while, is Harbor Freight's, I think they call it the Black Widow. I've actually had this so long, they've come out with a new version of it. This is their old version. Now, this is a 1.3 tip. It's mainly meant for base and clear coat. They do make one, if you wanted to buy two, for, it's a 1.7 tip. It's good for primer. Only reason I wanted to try this over this gun is because it's an HTE gun, which just means high efficiency transfer. It's just fancy to say it's supposed to like lay it down finer, less overspray, stuff like that from what I understand. More paint gets on the panel, long story short. So we're gonna throw it on here. I don't have a regulator for it. I should have got that, so we're gonna grab that. Let me move this over here. Cap it. Make a mess. There we go. Let's get to spraying. Man, the shop has been destroyed. I'm so glad. This is why you put the plastic up. Just covers all of this. Look at this. But man, I have a lot of cleaning to do, but check it out. Everything is in finished paint, and I'm just stoked with how it came out. Came out so good, guys. And that Harbor Freight Black Widow gun, it sprays better than anything I've ever had. That thing is awesome. I highly recommend it. Check it out. Looks so good, no runs. It just sprayed evenly, not a lot. Man, that thing was awesome. Check our hood out. This thing looks beautiful. So happy with how it came out. And then the area we were sanding came out really good, so there's no issues there. You can kind of see the dents, you know, that are, these are the ones I pounded out, and they show through. But it is what it is. I was not going to fill underneath the hood here. We will fill the top side when we top coat it, but that's fine. This truck isn't perfect, but it's going to be perfect when I'm driving it down the road, guys. Now over here we have the Chaos, which you've already seen, but everything's finished painted on here. It looks awesome. Now I can't touch it. It is dry to the touch, but unfortunately, guys, it still needs to cure. And what that means is I can't work in the shop because, well, everything's drying like this, and what my wife calls it is looks like a slaughterhouse because everything's hanging from hooks. So while the slaughterhouse is drying, there's nothing I can do about actually working in the shop, guys. So I kind of just have to let the paint cure. So that's the downside, because I only have about 3 days to get videos out to you during a week because of all the other stuff I told you that I've got going on. So what we're gonna do tomorrow, hopefully, is get the shop cleaned up, get all this stuff put away, and we can jump on the fenders. So what I wanna do is just get the fenders and epoxy right there. Maybe get the hood done if it's dry enough to be able to rest on the inside. And our mustache over there, which I've never even really talked about because it's perfect and I've never had to do anything to it because that's the best piece of sheet metal on the truck. So that's the plan, guys. I hope you're enjoying this video. It's been a ton of work for me, but man, it's just worth it because this is, this is where you get to see all your hard work. The sanding, the body work, the sheet metal work, all that stuff just comes down to being able to lay paint on it and see how it comes out, guys. Now with that, we'll let it dry and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Well, guys, it is the next day, and to be honest, it's actually pretty late in the day. So I had to get out there and work on the daily driver because that thing is always letting me down. I cannot stand that thing. I cannot wait till this is my daily driver because I know it's going to be reliable, and if it does break down, well, at least it'll be fun to work on, guys. Now, I've gotten everything where we kind of need to be. So all of the stuff that was hanging is kind of cleaned up, except these two things. The inner fender here and the hood, they were out there in the bake booth, and by the bake booth, I mean the sun was getting them nice and toasty, so they're nice and cured enough to where I can handle it because I'm gonna need this one to be set down, and this one over here, obviously, we're gonna need to flip over so I can do the other side. And then I've pulled out all of the other sheet metal. And then something I haven't shown you guys here is the front splash pan. I just got a new repop because the other one's rotted out and I started working on metal. But of course, guys, it came pre-dented, just to give me the real OEM feel of having to do some sheet metal. And then there's like lows in here from the spot welds. They want to make sure you still have to body work it. And then back over here, I still got everything hanging on the dry racks because it still needs like a day. This didn't get a bake booth. No sun in here, so it needs about another day before I start handling. It's dry to the touch, but it's still kind of soft. Now I got all the other stuff that didn't get top coated, just in epoxy. That's dry enough to handle, so it's just sitting over here. But man, check it out. I just got to show you. It gets me excited just seeing all the shiny paint on it. I mean, even it's just simple stuff. It looks really good, so I'm happy with how this came out. Like I said, this stuff just needs a little bit longer. There's our steering box. Now let me go ahead and get things kind of cleaned up in here, and I'll get the hood situated, because what I want to do with the hood, guys, is, I don't know if you saw, all of this where I'm kind of divide the color is really going to be at the lip. So I want all of this to be body color when you pop the hood. I even made sure that there was going to be black in between here. So I'm going to go through and meticulously kind of tape this all off, make sure I got a good dividing line so it just looks good when you pop. We'll get that put away, kind of everything set up, and we'll just start sanding my life away as usual, getting it all cleaned up so we can start getting stuff into epoxy. Now to get this done, I'm just pulling it out with the vice grip. I'm not getting fancy. Because it's tight and I can't really get a dolly behind it, just kind of stretch it out. Then I'm just gonna bang the hard edges back in. So there you go, banged out into a nice little edge. It looks good. Like I said, most of that's gonna be covered. Just kind of want it in the shape, and now we can get this thing all cleaned up and ready to go. So basically all the typical stuff, guys. So let me just jump in, start getting this done so we can get this stuff primed. Well, guys, we're set up and ready to go. Now, full disclosure, it is the next day. I'm cutting into time I just don't have. So here we are. I need to get this knocked out today because I got a bunch of stuff I need to do, but here it is, sitting on the meat racks, as my wife likes to call it. But these hooks have been a lifesaver. I was really kind of trying to figure out what I was gonna do as far as painting both sides of the fenders. Thought I was gonna have to do it in stages. This is way better. I'm really happy with the way this is gonna work out. So I got everything that you saw hanging. And remember I talked about it was gonna be really hard to get this completely to bare metal, and that's because you guys saw I had to hand sand all this. Because all these edges you can't get in with the DA, so this is kind of the end result. I'm not worried about it. Let me come over here. And this side I got a little bit better. It should be just fine. Where's my light? Okay guys, I have the light on, and as you can see, I cleaned it up the best I could. It's gonna be fine. And then over here, we already cleaned up the hood and got it flipped over. Now, like I said, it's the next day. So I got up real early, guys, and I wax and grease removed everything. I got the fenders and everything where it needs to be. So that's the plan, guys. Now I told you I don't have a ton of time today. It's cutting into a day I wasn't expecting to be doing this. So let's just go ahead and jump in and start laying some paint. All right, guys, you guys already know my process. So I throw it in here, get it tightened down, and a little shake and bake, and then mix it up. There we go. Start laying paint. And with that, guys, all of the sheet metal for the truck is finally in primer. We have reached a huge milestone on this project because now it's just body work and lots of body work. And this thing will finally be on the road, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look. Check it out. Man, this hood came out so good. I'm just so stoked about it. Just how clean it is. It really gets to show you how the paint's gonna lay later. Definitely have a bunch of pits in here. And I listened to you guys' comments about this. I will try to skim coat some of the pits so I'm not dealing with the same issues, but the hood is in great shape. It's hard to see when it was in metal before, but man, it just looks awesome. Super happy with it. And of course the fenders, this one, which is the passenger side, is so nice, which really goes to show why this was definitely a mission to save. And maybe I should have spent more money and got a nicer one because this entire fender is going to be skim coated. I mean, look how bad this pit is right here. Tons of scratches along here. Of course, we already know about up here. This is going to need a lot of body work. Well, this is going to be pretty straightforward. So I'm saving it. It's there, but definitely learning my lesson when it comes to that. And now over here, guys, we have the doors. I haven't really talked about the doors, but the doors are not going to end up in epoxy. And the big reason for that is because I'd have to strip them all down. And to strip them all down would just be a ton of work. This has already been sandblasted and body work, so I'm just going to go with what the people did before. This on here is actually high build. So this here is high build. This black is all guide coat. So the plan for this, since this door actually still needs a little bit of work here from when I got it to fit, is to body work that, and then I'm going to sand all the guide coat off, and then I'm just going to put it in my high build. The reason I need to do that, guys, because the high build I'm using is gray, and if you don't start with the same color primer, it can throw your base coat off. So that's what I'm going to do. Sand this out, we'll get these cleaned up, we'll body work whatever we have to, and just throw them in high build so they won't get epoxy, but they're going to be fine. I'm guaranteed those doors will outlast me, so I'm not worried about it. Now, before I let you guys go, I do have a favor I need to ask of you guys. If you've made it this far in the video, that's most likely means you've seen some of my other videos. And if you haven't, please go check that stuff out. But what I want to ask is, I want to grow this channel. As you've seen, I have the Travelette, I have a whole other project that's sitting in the back that I haven't even shown you guys yet, and a couple other things on the way. My goal is to keep growing this channel after the 53. So with that, if there's anything you guys think I can do better, anything I can incorporate into the channel, stuff like that, maybe I talk too much, whatever it is, drop down into the comments and let me know. And if you feel better, emailing me, my email's in the description. Just, if you guys don't mind, sending that kind of out, because I want to grow and I want to see maybe what I'm doing wrong or what I could do better, or just tell me what you guys like and I'll keep doing that. Now guys, with that, that is a video. So as always, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if I can do any of this, so can you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.